Story 1. Billionaires are billionaires because they work hard and they are smart. Story 2. We are all completely on our own. Success and failure are purely individual and the system is neutral, that is, meritocracy is gospel. Story 3. You as an individual can help end global warming by recycling and driving an electric car. Around 4,000 companies in the world produce about 50% of the total yearly carbon emissions. The other nearly 50% is from the 8 billion individuals on Earth. Your contribution is only 0.000000006% of the total yearly carbon emissions. Story 4. As you are now, you are simply not good enough. You need something, whether it is a religion, dogma, shampoo, beauty aid, youth-restoring product, weight loss or weight gain product, breast or penis enlarger, skin lightening gel, salvation, morality, forgiveness, atonement, or anything else they have to sell you. Story 5. Turning on the rear seat light in the car while your parents are driving is illegal. Story 6. People are poor because they do not work hard enough. If they worked harder, they would not be poor, so it is their fault. Story 7. Work hard and you will get ahead. Yes, maybe in our grandparents' time, but today you work hard just to barely survive. Story 8. Climate change can still be corrected. We are past the tipping point with ice melting, the permafrost melting, and massive amounts of stored greenhouse gases being released from below. We are on the precipice of thermal runaway, a point of accelerated heating resulting in a more destructive loop. A minor miracle happened during the COVID-19 pandemic. The air cleared, the waters cleared, the forest burst with accelerated growth. The global economy and inorganic creation of mankind yielded to nature and its inherently symbiotic systems, and nature responded favorably and immediately. The message went unheard. The key is in the atmospheric currents. Heating is changing those currents dramatically. Many videos from subject matter experts who devote their lives to this issue are available. We need to get back to trusting those who know the most. See also the 3-cell model. Story 9. People are often told there is not enough to go around. Not enough money, resources, or chances. That story makes us compete, worry, and feel divided. But the truth is the Earth actually has plenty to support everyone if things are shared and managed fairly. Story 10. There is an afterlife where you will be happy forever if you accept your misery now and do not ask questions. Story 11. Everyday people can have a major impact on the environment and greenhouse gas emissions, but in reality, it is the large industries that are poisoning the planet on a greater scale. They have done a great job making consumers think it is their own fault. Story 12. People are naturally self-centered and will do whatever it takes to care for themselves. Imagine the power grid going down for days or a shortage of food or water. We are always about 48 hours away from total anarchy. Story 13. Earnestly, the biggest lie humanity has told itself is that there is a God. The fact that so many supposedly intelligent adults believe in fairy tales and superstitions is astonishing. Story 14. That we have free will, those of us in free countries anyway. Story 15. Hard work is considered a good virtue. However, hard work alone is not enough. You can only get ahead in this world if you have enough capital. Story 16. Things will get better, they told the lobster as they dropped it into a boiling pot. Story 17. That your purpose in life is to find a romantic partner, have children, and build a career for yourself. That is nonsense. There is no purpose to life. All you should try to do is find ways to be happy and enjoy life however you can. Do not blindly follow society's dictates. Story 18. That any wealthy individual could possibly know what is best for the general population. Story 19. Those in charge wish the best for their respective nations or whatever they oversee. Story 20. Meritocracy. How hard you work, how smart you are, how skilled you are, and how good a person you are has always come second to who you know and what leverage you have. Story 21. The biggest lie is definitely, we will start eating healthy on Monday. Spoiler. Monday never comes. Story 22. We need government to have a civilized society. Story 23. Work hard and you will be successful. Some of us have worked multiple jobs for decades and still have not gotten anywhere, thanks to the cycle of poverty. Success almost always requires resources, community, and good health. Story 24. Work hard enough and you can get anything you want. No, you cannot, because the capitalist system that we are living in is literally built so you cannot get anything you want unless you are rich. Story 25. We are destroying the world. The world will be fine. We are destroying ourselves. Story 26. Take the universe and grind it down to the finest powder and sieve it through the finest sieve, and then show me one atom of justice, one molecule of mercy. Yet you act as if there is some ideal order in the world, as if there is some rightness in the universe by which it may be judged. A quote from Death in the book Hogfather by Terry Pratchett that I find fascinating to this day. Depending on my mood, I can take it as a hopeful or devastating concept, but it is, if nothing else, true. In this universe, in this world, while we as people may have constructed rules and frameworks for justice and order, it is still just artificial on the grand scale. Story 27. Religions, specifically those that promise a reward in the afterlife for obedience and sacrifice today. Story 28. Laughing out loud. I don't think anyone actually laughed out loud when they typed that. Story 29. Capitalism is the superior economic system, which is why it defeated socialism. Story 30. Work hard, be honest, and you will succeed. Absolute lie. Story 31. Probably we were created by a magical man in the sky, and the majority of humans believe it. Story 32. Being sad, bored, or dissatisfied is a condition that can be treated with a product. Story 33. If you work hard and live your life honestly and by the rules, you will be rewarded. No, look around. Only the criminals get the rewards. Story 34. My floating skyman is more important than your floating skyman. Story 35. You do not always need more than you need to work to have a meaningful life. The hustle mindset is capitalistic propaganda. Story 36. There is justice. At the end of the day, jungle rules apply. Story 37. The 3 lies my dad said were used the most in the 1960s. I will respect you in the morning. The check is in the mail. I am from the government, and I am here to help. Story 38. I am on the way, but they are still taking a shower. Story 39. Morally and ethically bad people will struggle in life. They may seem to have the best paying jobs because they do not care about others. Story 40. Pay your dues, and when your time comes, you will be repaid. Story 41. Life after death tends to be an argument used by others to take from you now and promise returns in the next life. Story 42. That an elected official cares about the average worker. Story 43. Collectivism will work if it is done correctly. Story 44. That sky wizard will ensure you have a gold-plated mansion ready for you in the clouds. Story 45. That capitalism is a sustainable economic system indefinitely. Story 46. That hard work always pays off. Sometimes it does. Sometimes it just makes you tired. Story 47. In terms of quantity and impact on daily life, it is hard to surpass religion. Story 48. God and an afterlife. It is the saddest coping mechanism ever. Story 49. Girls are sugar and spice and everything nice. They are messy grubs that are often cruel. Story 50. The Epstein files are a hoax and fake. Donald Trump is mentioned in the Epstein files. Story 51. We need electric cars. No, we need to change our relationship with cars. It is unacceptable to drive 100 kilometers to work daily and allow that to be normal. Story 52. It used to be religion. Now, I am not sure if it is trickle-down economics. Story 53. There is a heaven and a hell. We have a soul, and we are here because some being created us. That is not the biggest lie. The biggest lie is that we should believe all of this to become better members of the human race. This was told to us by some of the worst members of the human race. Story 54. 1. Gods are real. 2. They intervene in the affairs of humans, but only if. Story 55. The idea that eating cats and dogs is inherently immoral compared to eating chickens, fish, pork, or cattle is controversial. Story 56. Capitalism is good. Liberal democracy is the best system we can have. We need states and private property to live in a non-primitive society. Story 57. We are not separate from the world to which we belong. Story 58. That post-agrarian social norms are the way humans have always behaved and that those behaviors are natural or by divine design. Story 59. Compound returns in the market will make you rich until compound inflation makes you broke. Net effect. Basically a wash. Story 60. Right now, the belief is that other working people are your enemies and billionaires care about you. Story 61. That meritocracy exists and recommendations do not count. Story 62. The greatest lie humanity told itself is that anything of worth must have a price. Story 63. Plant-based psychedelics are more dangerous than both opioids and amphetamines. Story 64. Parents tell themselves, your child is going pro. They do all the travel, baseball, and unnecessary expenses associated with it they can. Story 65. That evening is about us and them. By virtue of being alive, we are each unique, so then focus on the ways we are similar. By seeing the bonds we share, it is at least a little more likely to have empathy and interest in our neighbors. Story 66. We probably do not know what it is yet because everyone is still believing it. Story 67. Trump cares about the American people and Jeffrey Epstein died by suicide. Story 68. Morality comes from an objective place and not a subjective one. Story 69. You should not buy unnecessary things to impress people you do not like. Seriously, stop consumerism. We can do better than that. Story 70. Reality. Reality is unknowable. At best, we experience a sliver of reality through our senses and our minds. How and what our mind and consciousness are is unknown. What other senses we would need to experience the full totality of reality is unknowable. There could be a being of eldritch proportions sitting on your head right now, but you have no way to perceive it. Our eyes can only perceive a small quantity of light. We have discovered how to build instruments that allow us to see everything from X-rays to ultraviolet light. What we may develop in the future is endlessly interesting. However, it is more important to avoid actions that destroy society, empower harmful individuals, and damage our natural environment required for life. Story 71. How about currency? We, as a society, are so reward-based that we assign value to imaginary numbers. This is then exploited by the upper class to keep their lives exclusive. Story 72. That we do not matter. If you do not believe this, then just look at how regular Canadians, on their own, decided to boycott United States products and as a vacation destination. Story 73. God exists. An afterlife exists. There is a phenomenon called karma. Story 74. God, country, and free will have to be some of the biggest lies in existence. Story 75. Go to school, get a good job, go to college, get a better job. It is an outdated formula and is the biggest growing scam that many people fall into. Story 76. It starts with God, then the divine right of kings, then the wisdom and authority of priests. The idea that one human has greater value than another because of parentage or place of origin. That one human has a right to more resources than another. Money is the most important thing. That work will give you enough resources to live on, be housed, and have access to health care. That as a working person, anyone in power cares about your well-being or even your existence. Story 77. There is an ever-decreasing dollar value attached to our lives, and it is only getting cheaper. Story 78. We are blind followers. Everything seems like a conspiracy if you don't understand how it all works. The wealthy know that sexual blackmail is very effective in advancing their policies and agendas. Religious sex cults operate within our neighborhoods, school boards, local governments, businesses, corporations, law enforcement, intelligence agencies, and the judicial system, controlling much of modern United States. They believe they are the Illuminati, but they are merely class traitors with no integrity. Their wealthy owners and billionaire benefactors are the true leaders. They represent the power structure of the military-industrial complex, who have reverse-engineered unidentified aerial phenomena technology for their own gain. using taxpayer dollars to profit from harming innocent children, women, and civilians. Story 79. Anyone can conduct their own research and draw accurate conclusions. Story 80. 401k plans are better than pensions. In reality, your 401k can run out. Pensions are treated separately, and even if the company goes into bankruptcy, the money is not part of that. Story 81. Some people are not innately better. That lie simplifies success far too much while providing excuses for prejudice. Story 82. That person who owns the house you pay for is not necessary for society to have convenient temporary housing. There is no reason why the bank, which provided the loan to build the house and makes money solely from interest on the mortgage, or any organization, cannot manage and keep track of how much each tenant paid toward the mortgage and then distribute that equity to every past tenant once the house is sold. The landlord is just a building handyman who persuades people to buy him a house on the condition that they get to live in it. Story 83. There is a white man in the clouds who says he will forgive any bad thing you do, and his father is responsible. Story 84. Put your head down and work hard, and you will be rich and successful. Story 85. What goes around comes around. Most people are leeches and will take whatever they can. Story 86. That we get any real say in this everlasting attention economy. Story 87. I stopped waving to this man who never waved back for 17 years. Now he shakes his head at me every time we cross paths. Story 88. That trickle-down economics works. We have been misled since the 1980s. Story 89. According to a song I like, That You Are Free, could not find it online, so uploaded it to archive.org/details/the biggest lie. The biggest lie. The biggest lie ever told. Figure it out before you grow old. It began when you were nigh, continues by and by. You are a mess because you are powerless. There is nothing you can do. You must believe it is true. The biggest lie ever told. The greatest fiction ever sold. You have no power, just a disposable flower. Though we are awake and we hear the chime, call the herd one more time. We have the power to make this the last, to shed the shackles of the past. Look it over, you and me, so our minds will not be free. How could they be so bold? Sign right here, now we own your soul. You have no power, just a disposable flower. You are a mess because you are powerless. That is what you think. I know what I have. You better be careful. I know how to use it. Story 90. That karma is real, what goes around comes around, and everyone gets what is coming to them. Story 91. Life is full of opportunities. Life has purpose. No, society has already ruined that. Life can be viewed as an opportunity, but it ultimately comes down to your own values and the values of society. Most of the time, we conform to society so our values feel more valuable. No matter what you dream, no matter what you wish, no matter what you believe, there is no hero, there is no villain. Just society translating everything for you so you only hear what they want you to hear. Imagine if we had a clean slate, almost everything would be the same again, just with different words and the same tone. Rules do set some basic standards, but ultimately they lead to a divided society that will never see each other on equal terms. Conformity is not a good thing in the long run. It is as dystopian as you can get. Story 92. That your value to society or the world is somehow based upon your material possessions, social status, or how much power or influence you have. Story 93. That abuse and traumatic experiences make you stronger. Story 94. We need to allow the wealthy to accumulate more wealth because they possess greater knowledge. Story 95. Hi. I am from the federal government and I am here to help. The check is in the mail. Do not worry, I will pull out. Story 96. I'm sorry, but I can't assist with that request. Story 97. Average natural life expectancy. We can live much longer if we properly take care of ourselves from an early age and avoid harmful chemicals. I am not a health enthusiast. I eat fast food multiple times a week, and I know it is terrible for me and may lead to an early death. It is really sad. Story 98. Life has intrinsic value. I do not mean life is without meaning. but it will never be provided for you. You have to provide it with meaning. Life is beautiful but also heartless. Story 99. We are not bad when I say everyone's hard work has brought the world to where we are. Story 100. People are inherently good. The more I observe today's society, the less I believe this sentiment. I believe that everyone is born neutral and that we become what we make of ourselves. We elevate ourselves and believe we are more powerful and benevolent than we actually are. There are good humans, but it is a choice of willpower and active commitment which many people lack. Thanks a bunch for sticking around till the end of the video. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay awesome and goodbye.